What's up guys, my name's Petey from Charlie Intel. So Infinity Ward has revealed the first details of DLC 1, which is the first map pack coming to Infinite Warfare this January 2017, and they're calling it Sabotage. So it's hitting the PlayStation 4 first on January 31st, 2017, and of course it will follow on the Xbox One and the PC approximately 4 or so weeks later, so I imagine sometime in February or perhaps into March 2017. So Sabotage features 4 new multiplayer maps, as you come to expect in most DLC map packs, and it also includes a remake of Modern Warfare 2's multiplayer map, Afghan, which is actually really cool in itself, alongside the next episode of Zombies in Spaceland story, which is called Rave in the Redwoods. So just to give you a bit more background in terms of the 4 maps coming within this DLC map pack for the multiplayer aspects of Infinite Warfare, the first one is called Noir, and it's a dark, grimy city map inspired by futuristic Brooklyn at night. So it's a classic 3-lane map set against a backdrop of a dystopian future filled with cafes and parks surrounding a brutal downtown war zone. The next one is called Neon, which is a virtual training center designed for urban warfare. So Neon is a unique digitized battle arena where cars and other structures spawn out of thin air and enemies dissolve into hundreds of pixels when defeated, which actually sounds pretty cool. Middle lane sightlines will cater to long-range players, while the outsides of the map allow for quick counter-attacks in close-quarter action. The next one is called Renaissance, and it's set in northern Italy, and it pits players against each other on the narrow streets of Venice, surrounded by classic architecture and buildings that promote continuous action through the canals and neighborhoods of this iconic city. And finally, we have Dominion, which is a reimagining of the classic Afghan map from Modern Warfare 2, but now set on Mars. So Dominion retains, apparently, all the memorable landmarks and gameplay of the original, hopefully, anchored by the crashed ship in the center, with a few enhancements here and there, designed to take advantage of the new movement system in Infinite Warfare. So hopefully that actually translates into a very similar gameplay experience to the original Afghan map in Modern Warfare 2, as much as it can be anyway, given the fact, of course, the movement mechanics have changed quite drastically since Modern Warfare 2 within Infinite Warfare, because I know Afghan was actually one of the fan favorites, or, you know, there were a lot of big fans of that map within the Call of Duty community from back in the day during Modern Warfare 2, so fingers crossed they don't ruin that map, and the overall flow of the map is very similar to the original experience as we had back in Modern Warfare 2. And finally, we move on to Zombies. So Zombies is getting its second chapter in the Zombies in Spaceland story within Infinite Warfare's first DLC 1, and it's called Rave in the Redwoods. So it's set in an abandoned lakeside summer camp where zombie ravers have taken over and turned the grounds into a techno-fueled illusion. So Rave in the Redwoods is a tense, spooky thrill ride with a shocking twist, surprises, and a slew of Easter eggs for players to discover. So honestly, props to Infinity Ward, because it looks like they're putting a lot of effort into making sure their Zombies mode is very unique to other Zombies modes we've seen in the Call of Duty franchise. So it actually looks really, really cool, and I'm quite excited to play this. So of course, that is the second installment in the Zombies in Spaceland kind of story, coming to DLC 1 within Infinite Warfare. So that's just a quick run through of the first DLC map pack coming to Infinite Warfare. Again, it'll be coming to the PlayStation 4 first on January 31st, followed by the Xbox One and PC shortly afterwards, I imagine about 4 or so weeks afterwards. What you're about to watch next is the official trailer for Sabotage DLC. If you're excited to play this map pack and also excited for the Afghan remake, be sure to leave a like on this video, and of course subscribe for further Charlie Intel content every 1 to 2 days. Thanks for watching guys, and enjoy the rest of the video.
We are so excited for fans to get their hands on the first DLC of the season.
We've been listening to your feedback, and we have so much more to come. We've got 4 intense maps and a brand new zombie experience.
One of the great things about DLC is it gives us the first opportunity to address what the players are looking for and what things can be improved upon in the Infinite Warfare experience.
We get a lot of feedback across social media, forums, everywhere. It's been really cool to see everything from beta up till now, the requests. So you're gonna see drastic changes and things you love brought into these new maps.
Noir is a dark, grimy, moody Brooklyn from the distant future.
On one side, you spawn under the Brooklyn Bridge, which is kind of gritty. And then the exact opposite side of the map, it's a little bit nicer. There's cafes and parks. And then in the middle is just a war zone.
Neon is a virtual training simulator for urban warfare. It's a Z-shaped map with a long sight line down the middle, a high B point up on a ledge, and a close quarters area in a nightclub in the 3rd lane.
When you run around, cars will generate players. When they die, they will dissolve into a mess of polygons. It's a very interesting and fun play space to be in. One of the maps in DLC 1 that we are pretty excited about is called Renaissance. It takes place in Venice. It's a very tight quarters, very fast gameplay.
If you like to snipe, you're gonna love the church lane. If you like to run and gun with your shotgun or your SMG, you're gonna love skating through the interiors and engaging players. And if you're a mobile mid-ranger, you're gonna love taking your assault rifle onto the streets.
Another map we have is called Dominion, and it's a Modern Warfare 2 remake of the classic map Afghan. This time it takes place on Mars.
Afghan is such a revered map, not just amongst the fans, but also among everybody at Infinity Ward. It has a lot of different identifiable landmarks that everybody can remember: the crash ship, the AA guns on the hill. And we knew it was kind of an easy transition over to Infinite Warfare's theater of war.
And players can now boost jump up to the lookout and counter snipers with close range engagements.
The Rave in the Redwoods is a trip back to the 1990s, to a place that is such a stark contrast from what we did in Zombies in Spaceland. I think players are in for a real surprise. We made them really comfortable in Spaceland by opening up lanes, making it bright and colorful. This is really a horror film brought to life in a video game form. It's going to blow people's minds.
After getting sucked out of Zombies in Spaceland, our 4 characters appear in a cabin. They wake up kind of groggy. They kind of realize that they're maybe in the 90s now. As you explore outside of the cabin, you find out that you're actually in an abandoned camp that's been kind of taken over by a few hundred raver kids that are throwing an all-night rave party in the middle of the woods. The level has this dark, foreboding, kind of spooky vibe, and then the world comes alive.
There's new weaponry, there's new fate and fortune cards coming, new traps within the map. Our cast of characters are getting a whole new wardrobe change. We're gonna introduce a new character named the Slasher. There's so much more to tell. We can't wait for people to get a chance to experience what it's like to be in Rave in the Redwoods. People are in for a real treat.
All of the devs here at Infinity Ward cannot wait for our fans to get their hands on the new content.
The weapons, the quests, there's so much going into it. Fans are going to be super excited.
Call of Duty Infinite Warfare DLC 1 pack will be available January 31st, first on PS4.